Hello and welcome to the Dog Savant podcast. Today is episode 86. My name is Brett Endies. I'm a professional dog trainer. I created this podcast to help you if you're a dog owner and you'd like sound, experienced training advice. If you're a client in the real world and you're looking to supplement the work we do with some more information. And if you're just anyone who's interested in learning more about your dog behavior, dog training, problem behavior solving, the life of a professional dog trainer, this podcast is for you. I always ask, please rate, review, subscribe, share, follow me on social media at the Dog Savant. I'm also available for virtual online training, which we're going to talk about a bit today in our episode. You can contact my email, info@dogtrainingla.com, dogtrainingla@gmail.com. Either way, you can reach me. And I also have a Patreon page if you'd like to support the podcast and help me create more content, better quality content, and more frequent content. I would love it if you could support it. It is patreon.com/thedogsavant, SAVANT. Okay, so let's see. What are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about virtual training. I'm actually on my way home. And with that said, I think the last podcast we did in my soon-to-be little podcast studio/office, we got another car one. So pardon the background noise and the less than stellar audio quality. I do them whenever I have the motivation or the time, and although I used to be in the car often, I don't do that as much as back then, so I'll take the opportunity driving home from my virtual session to do one of these. I did my virtual session, by the way, in my vehicle because where I live in the mountains, we don't get the greatest Wi-Fi or cell service. It works, but it's not consistent enough to rely on it to be able to professionally help my clients, so I just park back where my girlfriend works in town, and I just kind of hang out there and do my work. It's been really, really, really awesome. So let's talk about that. Virtual training, right? A lot of people, and I did a podcast, maybe I'll post those ones on Patreon for people that kind of get it a little more and support it, but I didn't want to put it out there. It sounded like I was bitching and moaning, but to be quite honest, I know what type of, numbers I did as far as the amount of clients I'd see. And it greatly diminished, due to the COVID-19. And that's a combination of both people just not being in a position to hire a dog trainer, that's no one's fault, but then the circumstances. But then there's some people, and I understand where they're coming from, where they're hesitant to hire me because they can't see me in person. When the reality is most of the training is me just working with the owner and coaching them like a personal trainer teaches them to lift their own weights. I teach people to train their own dogs because it's very relational, as you've heard me talk about. And the dogs really only listen to those who do the work. So I've really dialed into, it's pretty much 99.99% of what it is in the real world in my virtual sessions, my online sessions, FaceTime, Zoom. What we're doing, and we're not doing as many because there are some people that I think are hesitant to hire a trainer online sight unseen, but the ones who do are really getting some great work done. I've had a few cases. I had 4 this weekend, and we did a group with a few people where it is no different. As long as I can paint enough of a picture and coach these people and the cameras are at the right angles and they can hear me and I can see the dog, we're good to go. We did a lot of place training. We had 2 cases in a row. One yesterday was a teenage child of a client who, there's just a little too much affection going on for what the dog can handle right now and a little babying. But it was just teaching the dog to be focused and structured in place as a replacement for these behaviors we don't want as their son approached. And then we did it today with someone who's a very young daughter who's a year and a half. And it, again, worked out great. I even had a session yesterday where these are people who've worked with other trainers in the real world, and their dog had some reactivity issues, and we went on a walk and did some structure exercises in the home, and they told me that their dog had the calmest walk that they've ever seen, and this was not me there. I was just the talking head. But even with the walk, it was pretty cool. They had her husband would hold the camera up, and I would just follow, and it was like I was like playing a video game. That's what Kate said. It really was like playing a video game because I was kind of over the shoulder, like I would be walking alongside a client, kind of looking up ahead, hearing for dogs, kind of coaching them. Oh, here's a dog. This is what we're supposed to do. Giving them the skills and the tools that they would be able to use on their own, because I don't live with owners anyway, and that's why the virtual, if I can coach them as I would in the real world, it's no different. And for all of you listening who have been kind of kicking up in the air, do I want to work with this guy who's like this LA dog trainer who, he might be a little bit too rich for my blood and all this. You get me at a real discounted rate, folks. Just ask, and I'm there. I'm much more available, and supply and demand dictates what someone would charge. I only want to help, and I'm just going to go by the going rate. And the going rate where I used to have my client base there in LA in person was different than what I'm doing virtually, right? So not as a sales ploy, but the reality is I can help you pretty much the same as if I was in your house or walking alongside you in the real world. So food for thought, consider that. But I'm excited, not only that I can just even just make a bit of a living. It's not the same living. I'm struggling. I'm not paying all my bills. So what? I'm still eating. I have something coming in here, even if it's a subsistence level, where there's people who lost everything, or people who are never going to be able to go back to it. I'm sure one day we're going to figure out a way to go back to real world training. I've already setting up here our boarding and training facility, so I can take more dogs in to alleviate some of the concern of clients who don't want people coming in their house or being in close contact. So we're getting that going. With that said, I'm also doing boarding here in Colorado. So if you're in this area or you want to send your dog out, we do training programs, boarding. We're still going to do our dog camp this summer. Next month, we're going to have a couple sessions. So we're going to send out another info about that for any clients or people that might be interested. Reach out to me. But we're going to make it work. We're going to do the best with what we got. There's still dogs that need trainers. So if you're a trainer listening to this, still moving forward here. It's not a zero. It's something. But nonetheless, and if you're listening to this and you've been working with me online, I appreciate your support on a level that it's not just financial. It's me being allowed to be who I am. I'm the dog guy, right? I'm the guy who talks dog all day. That's how I'm wired. It's what I've put countless tens of thousands of hours into, and it's what I've been trained to thrive best in. So for me, I'm happy now. I did a session with a client. It felt good, right? So you're giving me that back, guys. So I don't know if anyone listens to these who I've worked with recently, but if you do, I really I want to express that to you. I appreciate it. And then there's some people who didn't give me the vote of confidence, who are, one guy wants me to, it's like, well, you can sign, they want to make side deals that I'm going to break the rules to come to their house. Because they want me in person, not, and it's just a puppy case. It's like, in a couple months, if we're in a position where I can see you and I'm going to be busy again with clients, I'm probably going to cordially decline your case. Not so much, it's just that I need people to give me that vote of confidence, and those who have they really understand what's going on here and how I can help them. I guess I just really can't describe it in words enough. All right, so moving on from the gushing. Let's see, so I'm headed back home. We're gonna wrap up here soon. I got the guys here drilling the holes, because I'd be a madman if I wanted to drill. We're gonna have to drill probably, I don't even know how, I think it's 80 holes in mountain rock at 9,000 feet in Colorado. So I've got professionals doing that. I'm going to erect the fence. I'm going to put the post in, the wire, and all that. We're going to put a nice 6-foot fence in about an acre of the property to enclose the house and have more space for the dogs and for dogs that stay with us. I actually met with a client earlier who just came by locally. They wanted me to just have their dog board, just regular boarding, not training. And so I'm going to set up for more of that too here. I figure if I'm here, I'm going to make the most of what we got. We got a beautiful property, a nice spread here for the dogs to enjoy. I know my dogs are really thriving here, so anyone else's dog who comes up and spends time with us, I think will be the same. So if you're interested, reach out to me. Again, don't forget, please, I need your support on this podcast. Share, rate, review, subscribe. Go to the Patreon. Let me know how I'm helping you. Just getting your feedback, your questions, all of that is great. And everyone, as always, stay safe. I think today is May 10th, 2020. We're still in kind of semi-lockdown, but we're getting through it. All right, everyone, thanks for listening.